Moving on to wide receiver, we have Rashee Rice at 79%, Deontay Johnson 78%, Christian Watson at 74%. The medium level guys, we have Romeo Doubs, Jaden Reed, JSN, OBJ, who I forgot to link apparently. Deeper leagues, we have Eli Moore, Josh Downs, Noah Brown, Zay Jones, Quentin Johnson, Curtis Samuel, and Jonathan Mingo. And your dart throws are Jamison Williams, Tutu Atwell, Parker Washington, Demario Douglas, Dontavian Wicks. So I think Rice and Deontay are the most consistent. You have three Packers receivers who seem to be playing musical chairs. Most lately, it's been Dobbs and Reed because Watson's been out. JSN seems to be coming on lately, and then from here on out, it's kind of hit and miss guys where they're good 1 week, bad for 2 weeks, great 1 week. Like these guys have all had a good game or two, and then been completely useless. So it's kind of desperation time. So I would stick to a Packer or Rice and Deontay. I guess JSN. What's JSN been looking like? I'll look that up while you guys talk about it. I'm not sure what JSN's usage has been like.
He's been okay. It's not been great. He's kind of been up and down. He's selling more targets, but then
for a while.
Yeah.
Oh no, it has been. So the last 2 weeks he's had 11 and 7 targets, which is by far the most he's had. So he's seeing a lot more targets. So I don't hate that. I think he's below. I start with Rice and Deontay, then I group the three Packers together with Watson as the. You know what? Rice, Deontay, the two Packers in Dobbs and Reed, then JSN, then Watson, because Watson never plays. So.
Yeah, exactly. He's still dealing with that significant injury.
You're missing someone there in that medium league.
Yeah, who, OBJ. I'm not doing this. I'm just
10
it seems to be
targets
but it seems
for
to
OBJ
be like,
last week.
Did he get that many? He always seems to me like Jamison Williams, where it's all of his production is on one blown coverage touchdown.
Yeah, fair. I mean, he's getting that downfield usage, right? But who else do they have? They have Zay underneath, and then they have OBJ over the top and likely in the middle, right? So, the Ravens were down, right? And they were like, the Rams kept scoring on that elite defense, which was odd. But we got Jacksonville up next week, then San Francisco, Miami. So at the very least, outside of Jacksonville, you have teams who can score, and you have teams with broken secondaries. So I don't hate it. Picking up OBJ.
Here's my problem with it. He's been good in 3 of the last 5 games. In all 3 of them, he's had a touchdown. In his last 5 games, here's his yards per catch. 11.5, 40, 29, 11.5, and 24. Those numbers and the touchdown numbers are completely unsustainable. I get it. Like, I think he's not a terrible dart throw option. I don't want him against San Francisco, but like that's I don't know. That's just seems like he seems like the guy where the second him and Jamison Williams, the second I put them in my lineup, they're complete dud. But I hear you. Though.
I think he's with Elijah Moore in that range. It's just he ran like half the routes last week, and that's not what we want to see at all. So that's my bigger issue with him. If he was running like Zay was on the field the entire time, if OBJ's on the field the entire time, I'm gonna have a lot more confidence in him getting that floor, right? So he worries me with Elijah Moore because Cooper was back. I heard Elijah Moore a little bit, but like if you can get your hands on one of those Packers wide receivers. Reed is seeing a much bigger role without Watson. We saw them do the end around at the end zone with him. They're going to involve him. Like, I like that a lot. Him and, either one of those guys I'm fine with. But, yeah, like, you get Rashee Rice, obviously, Deontay Johnson. I'm assuming both those guys you just own, so I'm not even really talking about those guys. JSN, he's solid, too.
With OBJ, between injuries, in and out of lineups, and new teams, I think it's also a point of he became Josh Gordon in AB territory for me, where I'm just like, I'm not doing this anymore. Every time they come back, it's, we're going to do this again. I'm not doing this anymore. It's like with Josh Dobbs. Next year, Josh Dobbs will go to a new team. He will be good for 3 games on the Buccaneers or wherever, and then he will suck again. I'm not doing this. OBJ's on my I'm not doing this anymore list.
Yeah, and the name down there, like Quentin Johnston with Easton Stick, just not even entertaining that decision. And Jonathan Mingo, same issue. He's got Bryce Young. That's a disaster right now. Yep. But, like, if you want a name that's really down there, the bottom list, it's Pop Douglas. He's the wide receiver 1 on the team. He's been the best. I get it. It's Bailey Zappi, but he's going to see anything else stuff. So, like, he'll be the floor play of all those guys that I'm at least interested in.
Well, he's been hurt.
So if he's healthy, he's the only key with that. But, yeah, the other guys, I really don't want to charge a wide receiver. I'm, like, even questionable with Allen now. So, just no thank you.
There's 2 guys I want to add to this list. One is Malik Heath. Not because I want to add him, but because it was him last week, and it couldn't be any of these Packers wide receivers, right? So it's just somebody to consider when you are kind of plugging in Dobbs and Reed and Wicks, when will Watson return? Heath is on the field a lot more. There's even another wide. Oh, it's Torre. Samari Torre was out there getting looks last week. So it's just outside of Dobbs and Reed, I don't want anything to do with any of these Packers wide receivers because they could just not see the looks. And if Watson comes back, it gets even cloudier. And you hope that Reed can overcome, but Dobbs isn't going away. So, it's just really tricky in Green Bay. So be careful. But the one I do want to add, and I totally blanked on it just now, talking about Malik.
So by the way, Wake's hurt his ankle, so he's going to be out. So it looks good for him.
All right. Demarcus Robinson. Demarcus Robinson is, with Atwell, I'm not sure what his injury status is. But that if Robinson is out there as the number 3 for the Rams, he's getting enough looks and is the field stretcher there. And Stafford is just throwing it all over the field.
Those were 3.
They play Washington. They play the worst defense in the league. They play Washington. So, I'm all aboard that for if you need a guy this week.
Let's
you
go.
100%. That defense is trash.
This is one of the ones where normally I don't hate above. I don't mind the later options, but I'm not a big fan of the later options on this. They see Curtis Samuel seems to be chronically undervalued here, but Josh Downs seems so inconsistent. Noah Brown's not bad considering everyone's banged up. I should also add in John Mechie to this list. I don't know why I didn't add him. I know he's not very rostered, but what's that?
I say you just don't know what you're getting out of those guys week to week, even without they played the Jets last week, so obviously that was a lot to do with it. But man, that was a disaster. Then Stroud got hurt, and so was Stroud's dealing with that concussion. If he's not back, I'm just not touching the Houston pass catcher. But yeah, if Stroud's back, then 100%. You could definitely think.
Yeah, the problem is right. Tennessee, 2 of the next 3 weeks, that should be a nice little matchup for Brown, for Nico. But again, all these guys depending on health, right? So. Like you said, it should be great, but it's too tough right now. You just don't know.